Hello guys, welcome back to the Debug Arena. In this video, I will show you how to build a production-ready authentication system using React, Node.js and MongoDB. We will follow a clean MVC structure on backend, use React hook form for efficient form handling and validation, and we will secure everything with JWT, HTTP only cookies and proper error handling. By the end of this video, you will have a secure and scalable auth system ready for real world use. So first, let me give you the demo of what we are going to build in today's video. So you can see here, this is my login page, and from here I can navigate to my register page. And here, if the user click on this register button, you can see I will get the error. So I am also doing the validation, but not by my own. I am using a package. I will tell you about that. So now let me just fill all the details. While entering the details also, I will get the error. So that's good. So I will just enter all of this thing. I can just give the email. Fine. I will click on this register button and you can see I've got the message registration successful and I have been navigated to login. Now here I will try to do login. So here I will enter my email which I just registered, and here I will enter the password. Click on login and I have got the message login successful, and I have been navigated to user details where I am able to see the user details. So this is what we will achieve by the end of this video, and I want to let you know that I have used best coding practices while developing this application. So without any delay, let's get started. Okay, you can see here this is my React project which I have just created using a white. So you can run this command to create the project: npm create white at the rate latest, your project name and template will be React. And for now this folder structure is generated. In that, inside src I am having the asset app.jsx, which is my default code, which we will remove in future. But for now, let's first discuss about the folder structure in React. So you can keep the folder structure as you want, but let me show you what's the efficient way. So what I will do, I will come inside this src and will create a new folder named as components, in which all our components will be there. Okay, inside the component, what we are building in this video, we are building the auth. So I'll create another folder named as auth, so that all my authentication related components will be inside this folder. Now in auth, what are the components will I want? I want login, register, user details and the css. So let's create that. So I will come here, new file, login.jsx, another file, auth.css and register.jsx. So all my auth component will be here, and also the same css will be used by both these two, which helps us to reduce the duplicate code. So this is the folder structure which I follow, like I divide based on the functionalities. Okay, now let's go to register.jsx and create the basic layout. Let's create the register. Inside this, let's return the UI. So we will first keep the div. Inside div we will have our form. Okay, inside the form we will first have our h2 tag, where I will show a title, create an account, and after the title we will have our input box and the label. So for that I will create another div, and inside that div I will put label, and it will be full name. And after the label I will keep input box, and in the input what I can pass id as name, type as text for now, and at last I can just export it. Let's save this. Then I will go to my app.jsx and I will just remove everything from the content, and I will write our register component. Later we will integrate routing, but for now let's see the output. You can see this is the output. So let me just quickly add the css. I'm not going to explain or focus much more on css. So what I will do, I will just copy paste all the css and integrate the classes here, then I will show you. Okay, I have copy pasted all the css. If you want, you can take the screenshot or you can write it by yourself, or you can find it in my GitHub account. I'm not focusing on css because I think you can write css better than me. So okay, done, this much only. After this I will go to register.jsx, and here you can see I've added all the class name. Okay, and I've added the class name like styles.out container. You might have not seen this because we have a habit of adding the class name like this. So let's say we write a class name like this, and in this we can pass a string which is the class name inside the css. That is also good, but we can pass the styling like this also. So in that case what we have to do, we have to import our css. So while importing the css, we will import it like styles from, give the location of our css file, in our case, which is auth.css. Okay, and I think it should work. Now let me just save this. Let's go and check the output, and you can see I'm getting nothing. Why? Let me just come here. Okay, my bad. So this should be auth.module.css. So when you add module, now it convert this to module, so that we can access all the particular CSS name, same like module, same like variable. Okay, so I will just write here module.css. Let's come here, make it also as module.css. Fine, let's check the output now. Let's refresh it, and you can see I'm getting the output. Okay, but it is not taking the whole width. Let's see the app.css. It is because of white only, and in the app.css inside the root, they have added this max width and all. So what I will do, I will just remove everything, and we have to add this CSS, which is HTML body root, and you can copy paste this. Let's save this. Let's check the output, and you can see now our application is looking good. Now what I will do, I will go to my code, go to register, and let's create all other input boxes. Let me do that quickly. And you can see here I have added all the input boxes. Okay, so I have added label. In that label I have added HTML for, which is directly referring to the ID of the particular input. Okay, so I have created all the four fields. Let's check the output, and you can see our output is looking good. Now what next? The next step will be to get the data from all of this input. So you know the basic and the most easy way to get the data from the input is using the use state. You can create a use state, add on change, and based on change you can set the value. That is fine, but that don't provide us the validation. Like what if we want to validate a particular input? For that, for four different fields, you might have to create another four states that will equal to eight state, and then you will have to create another four function which will validate that input, and that is totally wrong. So to simplify this process of getting the data, validating it, I'm going to use a package named as React Hook Form. So let's go to the code and install it. I will come here, and what I will do, I will open my terminal, and let's install some packages. First one will be React Hook Form. I will also install React Router DOM and Axios. Okay, now I will go to Google and search for React Hook Form. If you want to know all about React Hook Form, all the keyword it provides, you can go to the documentation and check it. So you can go to get started, and here you can see the example of how to use it. It is very easy, but let me show you. So what I will do, I will go to code. Okay, it is installed. Let's close this. Then I will come here, and now the first thing is we will import use form from React Hook Form. Okay, so this use form is like a hook which will store all our data variables along with their validation messages. Okay, so what I will do, I will come here and let's create a const. In the const we can just assign use form. The syntax is similar to the other hooks. Okay, now use form provide us many default keyword which helps us to manage the validation and getting the form data. I will show you the most used one. The first one is register. So what register does now, it helps us to register a particular field inside this particular hook. So use form is a hook. Using the register keyword, we can register this particular name inside this, and that's it. Now we have another thing which is handle submit. So you know whenever we submit a form, we create our own function which will call the API. Okay, but before calling the function which is calling the API, we have to validate all our input which will be present inside this hook. So that will be done through handle submit function. Okay, it is provided by default. And then we have a form state. In the form state we can find the errors, touch field, and other details about the variables present inside the use form hook. Here I just want to access the errors, so I will just write here errors. If you want to explore all other variables or keywords from React hook form, you can go and check out the documentation. I know this might feel difficult for you, but just wait for a minute, everything will make sense. So now I have created this use form. Okay, now how to register the data in this use form? It is simple, very, very simple. I will come to this input. I will just write here curly braces, then give spread operator, then write here register. And in this, what I will pass? I will pass name, and that's it. It will store the variable from this input. The same thing I will do it for the email spread operator, so that it stores previous data also, and from this email, previous data means the previous field. Okay, email, this is fine. Now what I will do, I will come here and let's create the function name as submit call. Okay, in this I will get the data, and here I can just console.log it. Okay, fine. Now I will come to the form, and in the form I will call on submit. Okay, and in this on submit, what I will do, I will call this submit call. No, definitely not, because this will call the API. But before API, I have to validate the errors also. So I will call this handle submit, which is also like a higher order component. In this, I will pass on submit, sorry, submit call. So once all the field present inside this use form hook is valid, then only this will be called. Otherwise, we will get the validation error. Let's go to the output. Okay, now here if I click on register, you can see what I'm getting. I'm getting name and email. If I write something here, you can see I can easily get them inside console, and you can see how easy it is to get the value from input box using React hook form. So this was about getting the value. What about validation? It is also very simple. What we have to do, we have to come here inside this name, okay? Inside this bracket, we can add another field which is the validation. What type of validation? I can just write here required. So this is required. If user don't fill it, he will get this message. So I can just write here name is required. Along with this, I can also write here min length. Okay, in the min length, I can pass the value which is 3, and along with that I can also pass the message which I want to show to user. So I can just write here name must be at least 3 character. Okay, so now let's go to the email and add validation there. So this is the email. I will come here and let's add the validation, and you can see I've added the validation. What type of validation? First one is required, so email is required. I will get this message, and we can also add the pattern so that it will check what type of data we want in that. Like, this is the regular expression for email, so it will validate particular data with this regular expression. If it doesn't satisfy, we will get this message invalid email address. But now you might be thinking how we will see this error in our UI. I think you might forgot about that variable errors which we just created inside form state. So if I take you up there, you can see here we have created this errors. Okay, so what I will do, I will come to this name, and after the name input I will write one condition that if errors dot name is present, then I will show the UI. So I can just write a div. Inside the div I can show errors dot name dot message. Okay, it should be errors. I will copy this line and I will paste it after email also, and in this I can just pass email. Okay, this should also be errors, and here also. Let's save this. Let's go and check the output. Here let me just reload it, and now if I click on this register, you can see what I'm getting. I'm getting name is required, email is required. And if I write email is like this, I'm getting invalid email address. So you can see how easy it is to validate using React hook form by just adding these two lines. Okay, so now let me just quickly add the validation for other two and I will show you directly. Okay, I have done the modification, and you can see in this div I have also added error, which will show my error messages in red color. And if I scroll down to mobile phone, so you can see this is the validation, and I have used a pattern and message as mobile number must be 10 digit. I have added validation for all, and here is the validation for password whose length should be 6 character. So you can also add the validation as per your own, but this is very easy. Let me show you the output one more time. So if I come here, click on register, you can see this is how we will get the output, and it is looking totally good. Now let's move to the Node.js application and let's create the API to save this in our MongoDB database. Okay, you can see here, this is my Node.js application where I'm following the MVC structure. In MVC structure, we separate our routes, models, and controllers so that our backend application is easily scalable and maintainable. If you want to know more depth about MVC architecture and the uses and the advantage of all this folder, then you can check out a video dedicated on MVC architecture. I will give the link in the description. Also, I have already done the connection of Node.js with MongoDB so that it will save us time for this video. Okay, so you can see here, this is my app.js where I have imported the Express, and after that I have imported the cores also. So you have to install both these packages, and inside the cores we have to use it so that our front end can send the request to our backend and it will accept. In the same way, whatever data we are sending from front end, we have to accept in the JSON format. For that we have to use this middleware express.json, and here I am calling this function connectdb, which is coming from config db.js, where I have written the code to connect with MongoDB. So if you want to know about connection and all, you can check out my other video. Now let's move forward for creating the API. But before creating the API, you know what we have to do? We have to create models. So what are models? Models are like the structure which you tell MongoDB that this will be the data and this will be the structure which we will be storing in database. Okay. So what I will do, I will come to this models and I will create a new file user.js. Make sure you have imported Mongoose. Okay. First install and then import it. Then here what I will do, I will import Mongoose from Mongoose, and after this I will create a variable name as user schema. In this I will assign new Mongoose schema. So schema is nothing, just you are defining the structure of your data. Okay, so schema. Okay, in this what we have to show, so as we have already seen in UI, what are the fields we are having? We are having name, email, mobile and password. So we will add that. So I will just write here name. Okay, so in the name what we will specify, we will specify the type. What will be the type? Type will be string. Okay, is it required? Yes, it will be required. So this is like adding a double authentication to your application, so that validation will be done in UI also, in DB also, and then in backend API also. So it provide more security. Here also I will give min length as 3. Okay, and after this we will be having email whose type will also be string. It is also required, and this will be unique also. We want every user in our application with unique email ID. And here I will add lowercase. This will also be true. So you can just check the documentation of MongoDB and learn about this keyword so that you can provide more security to your schema and your database. After this, I will just add mobile and password. So let me just add it quickly, then I will explain you. Okay, I have added for mobile and password also, and you can see I have also added the match which will also validate the type of data we are getting, so double protection. Now just at the last I will add timestamp so that it will automatically create two fields created by and updated by, which will have the timestamps. Okay, yeah, and this is done. That's how you create the schema in MongoDB. Now we can just export it. Export default mongoose.model, and in the model we can pass the name. So here I will write user data, and here we can pass the user schema, which is just we have created this user schema. Okay, so our schema is ready. Now let's create routes and controllers. If you are wondering how I am using this import, it is because in package.json I have defined type as module, so that's why I am using the ES6 syntax. Okay, now I hope you already know about the controllers and the router. So in the route we mention all the method, that is whether our API will be post or get, and then assign a function to it that will be called when that API is hit. Suppose we have a API related to user, API related to admin, API related to product. So we can create 3 different routes, and in that route we can pass the particular route to the particular function. Okay, the same way goes for controller. In the controller we will create the function that will perform the operation, and those function will be passed on to the routes that will be called on post, get, or any other method. Okay, so now I will come for controller and let's create a controller. So I will create a new file name as user controller.js. In the user controller.js all the APIs or a function related to user will be written. If you have other elements in your application, then you can create different controller. Now I will come here and first I will just export const register user. This is just like a function, nothing more. Okay, now in the backend what we will get, we will get request and the response from our API. Okay, after this the first thing to handle all the error is using try and catch block. So I will just write try and catch block. After this user will share the data with us, so we have to extract the data. So what I will do, I will just write a const name comma email comma mobile comma password, and all this will be extracted from request.body. That will be coming from front end. That's how you get the data from request.body. After this what next, we have to validate these things, that all of them are coming or not. So I can just add this condition: if name is not present, or if any of this field is missing, I can just return here. Return means next lines of code will not execute, and this will be the last response. So here I can just return the response as status will be 400 and the data will be dot json message all fields are required. Okay, fine, our validations are done. Now what next? Now I will just create a variable name as user, and in this user I will create this new users. Okay, so I can just write here new, and here I will write user. What is this user? This is our model which we have created, and in that model we will pass all this data. How we can pass? Just like this, in the form of parameters like name. So here you can notice that this variable names is same as the variable name inside the user.js. That's why we have to write it like once. If those will be different, so we will have to assign it. So like name, this name will be referring to the user.js, this name, and here for whatever data we are getting here, suppose this is a full name, so here we will have to write full name like this. Okay, but now as both the variable names are same, we can write it just once. Okay, so here we have created the model. Now what? Now we can just write here await user.save. Why await? Because this function will take time, and if we are writing here await, then we have to make this as async also. Fine. And this dot save message will save this data to our MongoDB database. And at last we can just return the response. It will be 201, which stands for created, and the message will be user registered successfully. At last I can just console.log the error, and also I will send the error to the front end using response.status 500.json, and message will be server error. Okay, fine. Our register API is created. This is not the API, this is the function. But we have to create the API, we have to define its method. How we can do that? We can do that inside routes. Now I will go to routes and let's create the another route. I hope you understand this concept of user route and other routes. Okay, so user route.js. In this, I will first import the express. Okay, after that, I will create a variable name as router, and I will assign it here express.router. So it is creating one router. Okay, and in this way, we can create n number of routers. Okay, this should be the capital R. Fine. Okay, our router is created. Now, what next? Now we have to link it to our user controller. So what I will do, I will write a router dot post. Why post? Because post method allow us to get the data from front end. Like while registering, user will send the data, that we can use it here. But if we specify this as get, we cannot get the data from front end. Okay, so here I can specify my API path, which will be register. Fine. And then here I can just pass my function, which is register user, and you can see this should be imported from user controller. And yeah, our router is created, and here I can write export default router. Okay, so this is how you can create one router. Now let's go to app.js and use that router. Here I will come and I will write here app.use. This is creating the middleware, and here we can specify the path. So suppose this is running on http localhost 3001, so we will hit 3001, then we can hit slash api, okay, slash auth. Now after this auth, where we have to navigate, if we want we can navigate to the product by passing here the product function, but for now we have to navigate it to the register. So what I will do, I will just pass here all of our route. Okay, so I will just write here auth route. But what is this auth route? So let me just import it. So I can just write here import auth route from route slash user route.js. So now what will happen, user will hit http localhost 3001 slash api slash auth, so it will go inside this and can access all the routes here. Currently there is register only, but in future there will be login, logout and other. In the same way you can create for product, and user can hit the product route. So in this way we can efficiently define different route and make our application much more scalable. Now I will save this and we'll go to front end and hit this API and see whether we are able to register a user or not. In front end I will go to on submit function, sorry, submit call function. Here we are getting all the data. So what I will do, I have already installed the Axios, so I will come here and I will first write here try and catch block, okay, to handle the error much more efficiently. Then I will create a variable const response, and I will assign await here. Let's make this function as await or async, okay, because this will take time. Then I will write here Axios. It should be imported like this dot, what is our method name, post. In this we have to pass the URL. What is our URL? http localhost 3001 api slash auth slash register. Okay, then we can pass the data here. Which data? This data. So it will directly pass the data, and here we are passing the same thing, mobile name and email password, which is the same variable, so we don't have to do anything. After this I can just write a condition here that if response dot status. What status? 201 we have written there. Okay, if this is there, then I can just alert here registration successful. Otherwise, for now, let's just console the error. Okay, fine, let's save this. Let's check the output. I'll go to my application, let's reload it. Let's open the network tab. Okay, let's give all the details. Password also 12345 6. Click on register, and you can see what I'm getting. I'm getting pending. Why and what's the error? Okay, fail to connect. Let's see. Let's go here. Let's see whether I've started my server or not. Okay, we have to start the server. So for that, I can just run nodemon app. And okay, my server got started, but it got crashed again. So let's see what's the error. Okay, user controller. Let's go to user controller. Okay, it should be user.js. Fine, let's save this. Go to user out. It should be user controller.js. Save this. And yeah, MongoDB connected. Now let's go here, click on this register again, and I'm getting 500 error, server error. Okay, I think there is some issue there. Okay, you can see we are getting this issue. Okay, let's see our model. This is my model. Okay, this is fine. Oh, here I have added a string. Okay, my bad. So let me just remove the string. Okay, fine. Let's save this. Let's start the server again. And yeah, now come here again, click on this register, and you can see what I'm getting. I'm getting registration successful, and the user is successfully registered. Is it calling 2 times? I think yes, it is calling 2 times. Okay, the second time I'm getting the error. Why? Okay, message server error. That's fine. Let's see in the console why I am getting the error second time. Okay, duplicate key. That's fine. I will handle that. But is it calling 2 times? Let's see. No, it is calling 1 time only. Okay, so we are able to do the registration. But here you can see we are getting the error, duplicate error. So how you to handle that? For that, I will again go to user controller.js, and here I will create a variable name as const existing user, and it will be await. Okay, then I will access my model dot find one. Now here in this model, all the data will be present. Okay, so I'm trying to find the particular user using this email. Okay, now if user is present, that is this email id already exists. So what I will do, I will just write here if existing user is present, then I can return here, so that it will not execute the next lines of code, and we can return what, return status as 400, and message will be email already registered. Okay, fine. Along with this, I have to encrypt this password. For that, what I will do, I will install one package name as bcrypt. So npm I bcrypt we can run. Then I will come here and let's import bcrypt from bcrypt. Okay, bcrypt, fine. Okay, here the spelling should be correct, so I can just write here bcrypt. Then what we have to do after this validation, and before saving the password, I can come here and create a new variable hashed. Okay, and it will also be await, and here I can use bcrypt dot hash, which is a function to hash the data. In this I will pass password and 10. Okay, so it will encrypt it. Then here in the password I can pass the hash password like this, hashed. Okay, fine. Now let's save this. Let's start the server. Sorry. Okay, I'm getting the error. Okay, it should be inside this. Yeah, my server got started. Let's come here and let's change the email to, okay, let's try with the same email, and you can see what I'm getting. I'm getting email already registered. That's fine. And if I change this and click on this register, you can see I'm getting registration successful. Let me just show you this data in MongoDB also. I'll go to MongoDB, and here you can see this is my collection, and in that collection you can see I am having two data. In the first one the password is not encrypted, but in the second one the password is encrypted, and this is the email. Do the validation and getting so you can see how easy it is to maintain the good folder structure, to work with MVC structure, to handle the form efficiently and do the validation with less code, and to encrypt the data and to do the registration with all the security. I think this video is already too long, so I will cover the login part in the next video, because in that I have to explain the concept of cookies, JWT and all. So it will be a very big video if I combine those two. So that's it for the video. I hope you have understood each and everything. I request you guys, if you have any doubt regarding any of the concept, please let me know in comments. I will try to solve that, and also make sure to like, share and subscribe the video. Stay tuned for the next video. Thanks for watching.